Okay. Please tell me your name, the name, your organization you represent.
So I'm in French or English?
Ask the language you feel.
I will start in English and
Tell the.
So my name is Taoufik Ben Abdalah. I'm originally from Tunisia, but I'm living in Senegal since 1984. And I'm an economist. I started to work on some economic issues in Africa in general. After that, I started to do some work for civil society and for social movements. And my organization is ENDA, Tiers Monde, ENDA Third World, which is an international NGO based in Dakar, in Senegal. And I'm also the coordinator of the Africa Social Forum. And for that reason, I was also coordinating the World Social Forums held in Africa in 2006, 2007, and 2011. And I would say that my first real commitment with civil society, with social movements, started in the beginning of the 90s, 1992, 93, during the Rio Summit, the first Rio Summit. And after that, during the fight or the struggle on the debt issue against the World Bank, during the first generation of structural adjustment programs in Africa. And it was both an intellectual work, but also a commitment with civil society to criticize what the World Bank is doing, to criticize their policies, and also to mobilize civil society to face the World Bank in different countries in Africa. And after that, I'm engaged to work on trade against what we call it, the globalization, the neoliberal globalization, mainly against WTO. And we built a program on trade with civil society and social movements. And our first battle, fight was in Seattle as African civil society groups. And my work was to mobilize African groups and facilitate their participation and their expression in that process. And after that, it became a permanent program of advocacy and alternative research on trade. And it became also an advocacy program against the free trade agreements in general between Africa and Europe, against the WTO strategy and the policies. And in the 2001, we started to work in the framework of the World Social Forums. At the same time, to continue what I started on trade and other issues, but more focused and more articulated with the altermondialist groups in the world, in Africa. Okay? And yes, at that time I took the challenge to coordinate the Africa Social Forum by organizing different continental forums, promote some national forums, regional forums, and organize at the end of the period in Bamako, Nairobi, and in 2011 the World Social Forum in Dakar. Very interesting and very exciting period for me, where I learned a lot and they discovered a lot of other forces in the world with whom we had to articulate in order to be more efficient and create the global counterpower. Something at the same time to allow African civil society and social movements to be part of these movements and to have the opportunity to express themselves, to have exchanges with other groups from other parts of the world. Now, I think that today, if you ask me what are the priorities or the main priorities of the African social movements these days, okay, I would say first I would put in front the issue of political and democratic changes in Africa. What happened in Tunisia, in Egypt, and in Morocco is one strong example, but also other similar movements are going on in Senegal, in Burkina, and in other places. And for a lot of activists and civil society and social movements groups, it became a priority, because all of us, we are discovering that before trade, before policies, there is dignity, and there is the necessity to have a democratic state, a democratic atmosphere, just to exist and to be able to fight, and otherwise we are not efficient. This is a major issue, and for our generation, post-independence generation, we were tired, to be in front of the same governments, political, with the complicity of Europe and the US, and the fact that our people took the initiative to move by themselves in a very autonomous way, without let's say, at least in the beginning, without interferences of Europe, because Europe and the US were themselves surprised, how people from small countries like Tunisia, people take initiative to change their own future, their own situation, but also to have this type of impact on the regional balance of power, and disturb the whole international games in the region. So it's a very exciting period, and a lot of social movements are trying to support these democratic and political changes going on. This is the first priority. I would say that some of the other priorities are still going on. First, the international relationship and the issue of trade, the exploitation of natural resources, the role of new actors in Africa, such as China, India, Brazil, and so. And we are fighting for fair trade, for justice, for more power for Africa and the world. But at the same time, while we try to understand that the new world that is emerging through the new actors, through China, Brazil, India, and so. And it's a new direction that we are taking to try to bring analysis for our people, to train more people to understand the new world that we are, where we are, and we will see. This is a second priority, which is very important, and we are, let's say, we try to continue to work on the same issues, food sovereignty, the issue of debt, fair trade, and so, but in a new context, in a new world context. This is the second priority. Our third priority is to accompany the people themselves in different sectorial struggles locally. We have a new generation of association, NGOs, and social movements, and they are really, I think, more trained and they have more experience than we, old generation, we had in the past, to face the same type of problems. The same thing, to accompany people, to have women to have more power in society, to help some marginalized groups, to have farmers to be able to organize themselves and to defend their own interests, etc., etc.
How can we understand the social movements and the work in organized civil society in a continent that is absolutely huge? I mean, Africa is a continent which is, it's a very geographic, is a very huge extension, and culturally
and very diverse.
It's very diverse. So how can you work in that conditions? I mean, it's very different.
We there is a tradition of working together for a long time. Organizations, movements, they are connected and they work together. They have networks together, but you should understand that this is true. It's specific to Africa, because there is this common dream of unity, of one day to have united Africa, and it's something which is shared in different ways by the different part of Africa and the different people, and that gives us a common basis and common reasons for working together. You see, this is one. Two, for a long time, people, in fact, even if the continent is big, diverse, somewhere we have also common problems. And historically, we are in the same position in the world. You see, so by definition, I would say that we meet because we have the same interest, and we feel that we are the same in this world. We have the same position, the same mistreated, and that it's enough to work together. So this is why you have a lot of networks on different thematic issues, on debt, on trade. We have really global networks, and we put our resources together. We put our people efforts together, and we hope that we will be more efficient like that, and we achieve more impacts than to be alone somewhere, And also because for different historical reasons, you have very well designed regions and historical regions. North Africa is a region which is coherent, you see, and people, they feel that they are from the same region. West Africa is the same. People, they feel that they are West African, and they can talk with a Malian, somebody from Burkina, from Côte d'Ivoire, and so it's the same region, and inside the region, but also outside. And we have also some common institutions at the regional level. It's the same thing in Central Africa and in Eastern Africa and in Southern Africa. And the fact that we have an old common and continental organization, which is African Unity, is also very useful, and it contributes to put us together. You know, it creates a common framework and a common political framework. I can take an example. You know, on trade, for example, the body defining the common position for Africa for negotiations is AU. You see, so as Tunisian or as South African or as when we work, when we try to make advocacy on trade, we refer to that common position. You see, so it's the common position for negotiation. So it means that it's the interest of everybody to refer to that and to try to change the situation of our different regions by having that in mind. And if you take other challenges, it's the same thing. The issue of food security, food sovereignty or food security for many countries, there is the same challenges. You find the same problems, the same challenges. So people are encouraged to work together, you know. And also, you know, the political situation is similar from a country to another or from a region to another. So it's very easy also to understand why people are together to fight their government or to try to have some political changes. And we, on that basis, to talk together, to work together is very easy. It's very easy.
What had happened? What I understand is that your evaluation is positive. I mean, the political advocacy in Africa has been positive. What had happened I mean, the process has been positive. Why?
I would say that the process is probably positive, and it happened because we had the framework to work together and to learn together. It was not easy, you know. It was not easy. I remember 25 years ago, when we had to participate on some debates, and we had just few Africans understanding what's going on. Believe me, it was like that, and you feel alone. You see, so by trying to build initiatives, to bring more and more people to be able to understand the challenges and to be part of the discussions here and there when we are discussing the interest of one interest or another of Africa. It allowed a lot of people to learn and to understand the necessity to be together, to work together. And if you take this during 30 years, you can understand easily how it is positive. It was not easy at all. It was not easy at all. As everywhere, you have conflicts among people, different interests, different ideological positions, or different positions, and it's not easy to come and to build the same agenda and to have the same objectives and the same interests. It's not easy at all. But we learned to build common spaces, even if we have different spaces on the same topic. It's okay. It's democracy. But at least to have spaces together, even if we don't agree, and try to work together. It was very strong. The necessity to work together because the situation obliges us to do so. You see, I think that it's probably different in some other continents or realities. I can see it in Latin America, for example. You don't have the same dynamics. In Europe, also, you don't have the same dynamics. You don't have these common networks and the feeling that people share the same destiny, the same interest, and the same future, and so on. So it's different.
In your opinion, who were the main actors in this process?
Where? Sorry.
Who were the main actors? The main.
We can't say that one group or another is the main group, you see. It depends which type of struggles we are talking about, which type of process. I would say that on trade you have different groups and some key networks on that. On women you have also some key organizations and networks working together on that. On debt, on the natural resources, on human rights, and so and so. And you have at the same time some strong trade unions who are also organized, some farmers organizations who are also well organized, and all of this gives you the picture of the different sectors of civil society, and so there is no at the level of the whole continent you don't have one actor. You have different actors on different issues working together, but with their specificity. Now, on globally, we have also some spaces. The Africa Social Forum is one of them, trying to bring together different type of organizations, different interests, and have some global discussions together and to be articulated together as global entity to the world and to the social movements in the world. And it's the case with the altermondialist dynamic. And the experience, the fact that we exist since now 12 years, it shows that it was important, but it's also efficient. I mean, it's the fact that we succeeded to be visible, to be part of the movement, to capture some of the big events like the World Forums themselves. It's important. I can tell you, for example, that we had Bamako in 2006, Nairobi in 2007, Dakar in 2011, and the fourth forum in Africa will come in Tunis in 2013. It's also because the political situation is interesting for the world itself, but it's also because we were able to convince that the interest of the global movement is to act in Africa.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Taoufik.
I hope that my English is not